Welcome everybody. There's so much to share today. I have 4 messages. I did not do the union read. I did the twin flame read, which you see in front of you. But the messages that came up were longer than usual, so I didn't want to give you too much information, although it is a lot already. So let's get going. We're going to take our 3 deep breaths. Another deep breath. One more deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings. There's lots of purifying going on, really clean energy. And the moon came up again because I started at 118, and the she is the moon's been coming up the past couple days, so I was really getting the energy of, it's not the moon necessarily, it's the subconscious energies, right? It is the nothingness to the everythingness, the subconscious to the consciousness. So reminding you that the feminine is the subconscious. And we're going to get right into these messages. I'm going to roll the die and then show you the picks. So there's 4 messages and this read in front of you, the twin flame read. For those of you not familiar, it's a 7-deck read. It is a lot of information, so don't expect every message to fit. And if you'd like something more personalized, you certainly can contact me. My information's below as well as on my website. It's called twinflames3344.com. I also have a CD out there called Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames by Evelyn Stainthorpe if you want to check it out. It's only $1 for a song, so it's a great way to support me. And definitely thinking about this year getting back into the studio, or perhaps doing it at home. We'll see how that goes. And because I have at least, I don't know, probably 10 songs to record. So one of them includes Christ O Sophia, which I haven't recorded professionally yet. So we'll see how that goes. But actually I feel inspired again. Music comes for me in waves. Like there's certain times during the year which I really want to play and sing, and there's other times of the year I don't want to do anything at all. So let's just see how that inspiration goes and Spirit's connecting with me. Here is the number 10 of the high vibration. Here is the Venus energy. And the 10 for me is also that Libra energy, which Venus is also. So that's that high vibration. October is also going into Scorpio. And then we have Pisces again, which came up yesterday. So Pisces, Venus, which is Taurus and Libra, and then that 10 of Libra and Scorpio. So Pisces, Taurus, and then Libra to Scorpio. So there's that, we have the Scorpio Taurus axis. And I was just getting X's as well. So that's going to be coming up. And let's get going with these messages. A lot to show you. I'm kind of excited about these messages of the day because I'm really getting really good downloads. All right, so here we have the first message of the day. This was done yesterday. Okay. And this is the second. This is a really quickie. This is just a few lines. This message of the day, yesterday, last night. And then here is the read in front of you, the basic read for the 7, sorry about my fingers, or whatever is showing. The 7-deck read. This is the main read. And then we have the full read that you see on the table, the 7-deck read. And the decks are Romance Angels, the Numerology deck, Tarot, Sexual Magic, the Gilded, the Universal Golden, and the Rider-Waite Mini. So this is the first message of the day today, which ended up being really long. A lot of messages came up, and this is the second message I did this morning for you guys. The cards I used for most of the messages of the day is the Animal Spirit Guidebook. It's the Wild Animal Spirit Guidebook. I always forget the name. Yeah, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guidebook. And that's Kim Kranz. So that's the main first deck. And then we have the Lenormand Reverie. Then we have the Gilded. And then we have the Kipper deck. So that's 3 of the messages. The other ones you see are the other oracles. That was the ascension oracles, the past life deck. Did I use that? Yep. And what was the third one? Oh, and the energy deck, I believe. Okay. So let's get into these messages here. So the first one from yesterday was at 7:52 last night, which 52 would be written that way, 52/7, that's the Queen of Swords. And today is the 14th, 9/14, which White Wedding was coming up. I was actually married 9/14, so that's very significant for me, but it may be coming up as a general message for you guys as well. So however that works for you. So the underlying energy is the beaver, perhaps making cuts on a new path with the main female. And the main female here is obviously the divine feminine. And we have the Queen of Swords as the time with the chariot, which is the chariot's the feminine within the masculine ascending. So the frog in the rain, the gazelle on the plain, the rain in Spain with tiger's eye. Look closer, you're getting sleepy. Not the frog, but the gazelle, tiger, dragon, and beaver are looking right at me as this group of people, the elegant, the ferocious, the profound, and the hard workers. The gaze of the tiger's eye, my father. So when I spread my parents' ashes, we did a little card ceremony with my siblings, which was wonderful for me because they all accepted it very lovingly, and we had an amazing time doing it. It was very funny. But when I pulled cards for us during that ceremony, I came up as the zebra and my father came up as the tiger, which is that similarity of both having stripes, except my father was much more ferocious than I was as the zebra. But, you know, we worked together for a long time, so there was that energy coming up between us. So the gaze of the tiger's eye, my father, oh, by the way, and tiger's eye is very significant too, because my mother's mother gifted me a tiger's eye necklace that I have from when she passed away many, many years ago. But for some reason that was supposed to come up. That was my Yaya. They were not Greek, but they wanted to be called Papulian Yaya. The gaze of the tiger's eye, my father, when I came up the zebra, which both have stripes, but he more ready to take you down than I. So all kinds here are watching, perhaps for entertainment or to learn or to watch out for me and to take me down. So it's a very well balanced audience, a good balance of the world. The family with service or death. We have IV or dictation coming up, as well as embalming, and of course that always has to do with death and preparing the body if you have a service, or heckling and hiding also coming up. In choice of path, the Titanic staircase with compass pointing north northeast, and nor'easter may be coming up here, to collapse the timelines and make cuts, or cut scorpion occupied with negative self-talk. The Six of Cups, nostalgia and or old friends or siblings, loving children, and an announcement after a death or about a death or a service of the wounded warrior, deception, or up really early for celebration to let go a bit and put your feet up perhaps and choose a new path or get the wishbone. So that doesn't apply to me because I don't cook meat. So somebody might be pulling a wishbone. And that's kind of like the choice of path too, right? The 2 staircases. You know, you have a little a tug of war there to see who gets the short end of the stick. Or the deal with $2 on both paths, and do you want to go there? And can you? The privileged lady with distant horizons and the mature man, perhaps with bad health or just sick to their stomach about the journey to receive a gift from the main female, or present her with one. The cheetah getting hypnotized at the nest with deliverance, and that can just be lots of deliveries to your home, but lack of inspiration due to concern of an older man. And here was coming up the Christ star and the Star of Bethlehem. And that was coming up as the star at the conjunction of Capricorn last year in December. Like the moth to the flame, and Glover all over again, and there was a reference to Glover and Clover, but Danny Glover's coming up now. Like the moth to the flame, and Glover over and over again, standing for the moony, instead of the moody blues, the moony blues, the subconscious of the feminine, swimming against the current around the full moon, which is 9/21, which is when Sam the Illusionist said that you could have a walk-in on that date. That's when they would be swapping. So the Emperor's journey here. So by the way, on the full moon's actually 9:54 p.m. East Coast on the 20th. So the night before the 21st is the full moon, the harvest full moon. To come together for courtship here, Scorpion with jumpers. Again, in the picture, the scorpion's coming up as jumper cables. So they got the jumper cables with their claws and the stinger out. The lovely lady with negative self-talk, either about occupation or what's occupying them. Present to exchange, and this could be, you know, wanting to return a present as well, or taking back a gift they no longer want to give someone. But again, somebody could need a jump as well. And definitely watch out for those stingers out. At 8:20, which is the dance of the masculine and feminine, the inner and outer strength, the manifestation of your dreams, and then the 20, which is all about judgment, which don't worry about the word judgment. Judgment means you're making a decision, and we have to make decisions in life. The purpose of not judging has to do with you're not allowed to judge for someone else. It's not your place to judge for them. They have to make their own decisions. So of course we need to make decisions in our life, but don't try to plan so far ahead. Stay present in the moment. And the dragonflies here with the pulsing heart, if you've never seen dragonflies mate, they drop like a stick and then they fold down into a heart shape and start pulsing back and forth. The dragonfly's pulsing heart is anchoring in a glorious fall. My hero, says the little girl, holding her bunny, looking at the boy in the moon. And again, the moon reference to the feminine subconscious. The boy in the feminine subconscious. The whale drowning on the life raft keeps coming up, while the wise birds swoop in for counsel. Defenseless to the wealthy man, and that could be the government or, you know, the wealthy business people in this world, or a state lawyer perhaps, or just the powers that be who don't care about the whale's plight or the owl's flight. Hung out to dry, perhaps killer attorney or money man. I was just getting Pulp Fiction again. Or the wealthy man's attorneys without excuse, leaving them high and dry. Perhaps all of a sudden the attorney isn't available for some reason. The hyena in need of spiritual peace. The Queen of Cups reversed dealing with changes, hermiting at home, perhaps feeling defenseless to the energies or attack or feeling ganged up on and not interested in the rich person's life. Nightingale's song, soothing the world. We are the world. Well wishes, losing patience, or fallen angel at the big house or mansion or money pit. Perhaps a love-hate relationship with it. The mouse with flowers or gift to take down the field in high honor here. 3 or 21 gun salutes, and actually the 3 aren't considered gun salutes, they're rifle salutes, but the 3 or 21 gun or even 25 gun salute, which is funny because I watched Dear John last night, which is all about military stuff. Or blowing away the man in despair. And despair comes up as of the pair or of 2. So Mr. Bojangles is coming up here again, and the prisoner, right? So his owner, so to speak, was the prisoner, who actually, Mr. Bojangles was wonderful for this prisoner. It made him a much softer person, right? A pride he never felt before, where his pet was able to do all these kind of tricks. The Knight of Wands, and Spirit's connecting with me very intensely. The Knight of Wands and the Hermit, right? So it's the Hermit who's the prisoner, and the Knight of Wands is little Mr. Bojangles having so much fun doing tricks for him. The Unicorn cracking the whip with those lagging behind, unable to function or just being stubborn or in despair. The journey of justice, of truth and balance. The Snake with the poison apples and the loving man. The man hauling ass, overseen by 2 bucks. So either they're being watched constantly or overseen by them, meaning they didn't give them a second look. The man hauling ass, overseen by 2 bucks, or 2 men or bosses or whoever it is, always there conflicted, competing, or in hot pursuit towards a mature woman of great fortune who works hard or has a daughter or employee who does, or knows how to sew. And actually this came up in a couple of the messages, sewing, which is interesting too. I have a fashion certification for those of you who aren't familiar, but it wasn't coming up because of me, it was just coming up from the cards. So the cheetah, like the moth to the flame, the scorpion shocking the dragonfly's pulsing heart, and that could be someone who's getting their heart shocked, whether it's literally or figuratively. The whole not doing well, or the whale not doing well, and the hyena feels badly, perhaps for making fun of them, because that's what the hyena does, and the nightingale is singing softly, as, you know, softly, like Maria and Sophia. Say it soft, like it's almost like praying. So soft as a mouse in their ear, the whisper, which I brought up yesterday because I kept whispering in my song I was playing, with the unicorn in tow, like Mr. Bojangles with a coach. The storks nesting with deliveries and looking up at the moon, and the loving lady anchoring into wise guides, and peace diving deep with well wishes and flowers, or gift impatient with. So perhaps a gift that you're impatient with or trying to get something together. Also, this could be an impatient gift to someone who's in the hospital. So frustrated about reunion with the Page of Swords reversed, perhaps embarrassed or falling defenseless to foolish behavior. The Queen of Cups reversed may be sad or maybe manipulative, fallen angel, or she may be the impatient or just being impatient or losing patience, taking down the field, rendering all disabled at 8:45. So this also can be, I was getting music, so we're singing, sing it soft and it's almost like praying, which is meditation, which means, because I was thinking about singing at my mother's service or not, whether I need to haul my keyboard over there or not, because I have a lot of other stuff to take already. But my mother would be very proud of me if I did, and I'm not always very comfortable singing in front of people, so I guess she would be very proud of me if I did. So we'll see how that goes. So taking down the field, the energy I was getting after I had gotten these messages yesterday was the energy of the song, because the song, even the toughest guy, you never know, might end up tearing up and crying because of a certain song. So it's something that can really touch everybody's hearts, not just some. And some might not like it at all, which is fine. The Queen of Cups reversed may be sad or manipulative, fallen angel, and or impatient, taking down the field, rendering all disabled, which may be a good thing. 8:45 is the dance and the 45 of grief, grieving, sadness, loss, guilt and shame. All of those things come up under that 5 of Cups energy, right? Not letting go of that third baton to finish the race. A high honor coming up here with rod and staff, which also references music, the music lines and the staff of the music, the sheet music of the unicorn here, which is funny. My mother's bringing this up because she used to call me her unicorn. The older man with concern about courtship, an occupation, or for a job, with little girl with wealthy man, or car and home and high honor, and yet in despair on the journey with pup, or brought to tears. And that's Pop. I'm getting my uncle. My uncle can't, I don't think he's going to be able to make the service because he's been battling with bone cancer. But I think my aunt's coming, but we call him Pop. And he came up yesterday too when I said pup, about Pop. And he's someone who you'd never think would be the one who cries, but I have seen him cry, where I never had seen my dad. I've seen my dad cry a couple times. But when I was younger, I'd never seen my dad cry, but I had seen my uncle cry. So it's kind of that energy coming up. And so that second little message of the day was at 9:39 last night with the ascension deck and the past life deck and the energy deck. The underlying energies was the veils of illusion, the unicorn and the fool, and the Knight of Wands coming up here. And again, Dear John letters. On the farm or at the ranch, inspired to work or walk away with a new passion. Biblical work no longer works, or leaving the Amish country. The journey of the spirit and or inspired, Lord Cthulhu is the Atlas teacher and the transmuter of the weight of the world. So there's a reference to Lord Cthulhu to Atlas, which comes up again in a different way in these messages. With a spouse, perhaps, who's very balanced and fair, or the energy here in a contract type marriage or a very balanced marriage where it's very equal. The Neptune comes up here, and the Sun, regarding Atlantis's fall and the broken heart of the golden ray of Christ and the freedom of all, and no more love unrequited in energetic exchange, and the door to personal healing and happiness here. The Sun exposing illusions and that dreams are real. The falling out of Atlantis is the falling out of Adam and Eve coming back together now, was the message here. So then we have the fourth message of the day. This is a longer one. This is very detailed here. And this is today. Today's the 14th. So again, the 14 today of the Temperance card and the Two of Wands, the twin path, or that choice of path, or the twin flame. And this was done at 9 o'clock on the dot. We have double zeros behind the 9, which is Source backing up the Hermit energy, or the Virgo energy that we're in right now. And the message of the day started out with the zebra who had the tiger underneath it. And I just told you about me being the zebra and my father being the tiger at the ashes ceremony. But there were some also energies below that were coming up regarding a couple of my friends, the dolphin and my daughter as well. The dolphin, the fish, the dragonfly, all coming up. The two hearts is one, right? Those who you feel closest to. The zebra, the letter, and the emperor here. So like I said, I was getting lots of one-on-one relationships of people who were very close to me. And then they were guiding me to look up the word tige, T-I-G-E, and T-I-Z-E, which were both coming up from the cards right there. And tige means angry, and the angry man will definitely come up. It also means stem, like the stem of a plant, sapling or shank, smoke, steel, a steel pin in early rifles, which rifles comes up again too here, because I told you about the three-gun salute is actually rifles. So here's that coming up again is the pins in the rifles. It also means much, very, and many, and the number 3. And then ties, T-I-Z-E, just means maternal aunt, which I just told you about my maternal aunt. I only have one aunt, and that's Lucy. So Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds comes up, but here also is coming up Lu seeing, right? Lu is the fallen angel, and then see at the Y in the road. So the fallen angel who's able to see at the Y in the road, which is the awakening. So that's a very interesting Lucifer reference. So then we have, so my dad and me, my dad's name was Constantine, which is C, and then the number 3 is coming up, and C is the third letter, but also seeing with your eyes, seeing with your C and the emotions, and this Christ consciousness, right? So they're referencing my dad in a certain way, not sure why there, but that is coming up as the C. And C was also coming up in somebody's video I had seen earlier. So very significant for the C, the 3 C's, and the number 3. And then at 9:08, the guns were firing outside. So here we have those guns, the salutes, the 3 and 21 and 25 gun salutes. And then the tiger and zebra coming up as the tiger. The tiger was white with a black third eye. It had a white triangle, right? So the light, but it had a black third eye. And I was getting that the tiger was in black and white, but the zebra was in living color because their third eye was all lit up. And the zebra's letter to the emperor in a high honoring here, again, that 325 or 21 gun salute, or a rifle, whichever one, but rifles were coming up significantly here, regarding the fallen angel, being able to see at the Y in the road. See. Again, see with your eyes, see with your heart, your emotions, and ocean, and see with the letter C, the Christ consciousness or unity consciousness. So fashionable announcement or prediction regarding the emperor's honoring. So here's the emperor's new shoes. There could be an emperor who's stepping into somebody else's shoes or stepping out of their shoes. This could be a retirement or just a celebration of someone's life. But here it's the emperor coming up. The lamb with a target or diamond over their head. In the silencing of the lamb, the third eye and the fourth eye as the 3 and the 4, the Empress and the Emperor, the sacral chakra and intestines activation by the diamond light. So here we have the intestines at the sacral chakra and the diamond light coming up at the crown, over the crown. So the soul star chakra, and to focus energy above the head and at the intestines, at the sacral, and send love. The institutional restrictions here and the powers that be, and the loving man that cracks codes, but a vault himself, or reading a lot, exposing a choice of path and inspired, perhaps by the powers that be, or praying that the dark birds go away, defenseless to the loving man's energies and love, rendering them weak in the knees, or thanking God that he arrived, such a blessing in disguise of healing and forgiveness after a separation from self. Learning to heal tummy stress here. So all the stress that we build up in our sacral, not only our solar plexus, but our sacral, because it ends up in our intestines. The lamb at the institution also struggling with the dark birds. So here's like the emperor and the lamb, right? And it reminds me of my son in his new job. So the lamb at the institution also struggling with dark birds, but praying for them instead of being mad at them, learning how to deal with their nervousness in their stomach. The sacral eye with an opening for loving man to come in, the sperm and the egg, overwhelming for the egg, right? When there's this bright light of the energy of the divine masculine that comes in, it's overwhelming for the egg or the feminines around them. And I was getting that, the divine masculine, he shows up with this loving energy. It's 1:44 on the clock. It's overwhelming to all the women around them and the men. So intestines are in a bunch or a pickle, holding the clues to open up and heal. So whenever your stomach, gets crunched up, see that as an opportunity to heal that wound, whatever is causing that. Bad health or being sick to your stomach, in expanding the subconscious in transition, because there's change. The little girl and the wealthy man also coming up here. As soon as the hawk clears the way, the scorpion comes in and stings, right? So there's a trigger and muddies the water again, so to speak. Oh, that's so funny, because I saw an advertisement yesterday about intestines and how to clear them. And she was using water as an example and muddying the water, so that's really funny. So as soon as the hawk clears, the scorpion stings and muddies the water again, so to speak, because you're eating the wrong things. She was talking about food, but we're talking about emotional experiences. So why would you want to be around people who sting you all the time? So both are aimed at the star, but the scorpion got there first to the star, and their octopus teacher, with intuitive cap on instead of their thinking cap on, intuiting for the stars. This is someone who does the work for them. Masks before entering for the power lady, taking a risk to unlock the cage for freedom. And then breathing was coming up, so important here. Remember, you won't get sick if you breathe. If you take your 10 to 20 deep breaths, or they call it hyperventilation, if you do it quickly, you get plenty of oxygen into all of your cells, and that's why you don't get sick. The vulnerable woman being love or offering love in that high vibration also prevents you from getting sick. You're staying in that high vibration of love and nature. They're all protective. And standing up for oneself, not eating your emotions. Suffering in silence with injustice and starting over, with play or falling short. Perhaps just falling short on energy. With change for the main male. Married to a thief, perhaps, or staging a marriage to catch a thief, or stage mother of a child. She, the mother, wanting to be seen. So the child then gets away with murder here, which that was giving me a creepy thought, because I just watched that movie where the child, the spoiled, wealthy child ends up being the killer because, no one ever suspects a child of becoming that way, right? When they act like an adult, or they're raised amongst adults who assume it's okay for a child to think the way they do, but they have no practical experience behind those thoughts. So yeah, that's coming up. So the oyster's pearl and the bat, which is coming up, bat and ball, so baseball definitely could be coming up here. But the oyster is clamming up, and the wingman, and the bat dares to expose themselves even though they're nervous. The oyster may have their period, and the bat may be cutting through the crap. At 9:49, which is the Hermit, and the Get Your Wish card, the Nine of Cups, which is about self-satisfaction and happiness being alone. The journey of the high vibe destiny, the journey to a surprise or gift at the family room, or just with family. The King of Pentacles reversed, losing money or status over this, but feels freed by it at the same time. Destined to be the star and complete a mission, or empty the nest, or be the cleanup crew to help at the end. The swan meets the camel. Head, not toe. The camel is tight-lipped, not the other way, and the cheetah is behind them, or that's them paralyzed, hypnotized by the swan's beauty and grace, and or they're ready to pounce on them. At a public meet, or literally swans at the park, the camel and the cheetah admirers, but the camel snake in disguise. So there's a couple different things they come up as, but the camel may be the snake in disguise about the poison apples, or cheetah tempting the wrong path in front of them, according to their perspective, right? And then publicly taking a load off. No responsibilities, putting their feet up. The King of Cups reverse may be depressed or drinking, and that's the cheetah's out or escape, or their own escapism in lieu of making a choice here. Perhaps regarding the mask versus none, and medicine versus no medicine. Again, so in coming together in a big group, obviously those topics come up. So this is someone who feels like maybe they need to get out of there so they don't have to deal with it. And this may be someone coming in pretending to be one way so that nobody bothers them, but they're actually another way. Or literally someone's coming in to cause trouble. So the camel doesn't have to be the snake, but they can be as well. The snake could be someone who's coming in with the camel as well. So the eagle and the stingray then come up. So there's a lot of little groups that came up here, like twos, and like if you have a big event, that's how people arrive. Twos or threes or fours come together. So the eagle and the stingray here, as couples enter the building, each with their different perspective. The eagle has landed or is protecting their egg, and the stingray is plugged in and turned on, their chakras all activated and very high vibrational. The eagle with directions and the stingray is well anchored or cutting cords, and the Knight of Wands reversed may be falling short on energy. Perhaps they are pregnant here or paralyzed by their passions, and the stingray is cleaning up their act or coming clean. The main female, the nesting eagle, the number 2 of the feminine and the high priestess, and the stingray in despair on the journey to get there, perhaps with a pup, or worried on how they will take care of a new pup or child, or can't find a job. The elephant and the croc go head to head. Ellie's eyes are red and the croc's yellow. Indian or African and reptilian, or Ellie never forgets and the croc cut off their nose despite their face, laying in wait for so long. Or the elephant on the red eye, or with open third eye and flame, and the croc thinks it's a game, but must take elephants seriously because they're much bigger than them and they can squash them with one step or misstep. 2 hearts is 1, and the crocodile confessed, trying to peel back a layer and stay in their lane. The elephant is implementing a plan, and the crocodile taking a break to focus on their heart. The elephant in a courtship and the crocodile concerned, or a croc of you-know-what. The bear and fox are both furry friends, home and child, in disconnect or at a distance, not seeing eye to eye or face to face, with the high priestess, secret or Pisces, with great fortune, with coffin, death, end, or case just closed, or got out of it. So that could be a parent and child who just are not getting along right now. And then we have the, then we have the mother bear and the child of fox in disconnect or distance inspired by the sun or exposure or happiness, perhaps after an emperor's death, or very fortunate inheritance, or people gossiping about others regarding that stuff. Excuse me. Phoenix rising with vulture disappointed that there's no dessert, with unicorn there, assuring them they'd already had their turn and will be plenty other messes for them to clean up. The star, ship, or galactic traveling over the 4D Rainbow Bridge, or purgatory. The purge at, or the Y in the road, to twin bridges that need some work or in disrepair. The towering inferno and the magician walks in to make those repairs with the Queen of Cups, which is so funny because I have someone visiting who's offered to do something for me if I needed it. So then ending the conflict in a losing battle, at the celebration or satisfied with self spiritually and or as divorcee. The privileged lady hanging out seeing new perspectives, and the official person, a fool in love, adjudication of making it official in a union. We have elk, cougar, the nightingale, and then the golden egg, which is the heart chakra. And I got a scam call from New Hope. So there's New Hope at 10:25, which is that high vibe or a turn for the better of the Knight of Wands, who was coming up, I said earlier, possibly pregnant. So there's strong support here of the elk, who's usually very strong and loving and supportive, but also can be headstrong. So make sure that they eat well, because they don't do well with you. They can become very arrogant if they're not eating properly. So they can become a cougar if they don't, and could eat you alive or eat you for lunch. The songbird pacifies the beast, activating the heart chakras, a breakthrough as the dark clouds leave with abundant flow between jackals and the Page of Cups. Or checking their ears at the doctor, or the songbird, like the doctor, opening their ears and hearts, becoming that puppy love again, vulnerable and sweet, ending the war with sunshine and breakthroughs, perhaps some PTSD and looting post-war, or virus ending an emotional cycle of unhappiness, and the Page of Wands inspired amidst all of it, even a negative past and a falling out, or kids being difficult. It's like they're staying really high vibrational and doing well. So being that soulful inspiration in a different way for each. So no matter who you come across, you're going to be inspiring in a different way. Lovers with lots of abundant energetic exchange, which is communication, travel, or that can be the sexual exchange as well. Doing the dance of the subconscious with innocence, whether it's your innocence or other people who are innocent. The elk working hard to get through all this, a thread at a time with the mature woman or the matriarch of the family, perhaps the mother and daughter or boss and employee, and imprisonment by constant messages of concern, or mother burdened by being present or having to buy gifts and patient for others' concerns. This is a burden to them. The higher love. Or an abundant mother, perhaps a cougar with unhappy family, with concerns that this may be a trap, or talking about that time in jail, remembering way back when. So it could be family members laughing about, remember that time when you were a teenager and this happened, right? But also, or a mother with two daughters and a Cinderella story here, which is like the stepmother with their daughters at 10:40, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the 40 of the Page of Cups. A turn for the better regarding those innocents, those children and puppies. At 10:41, which is that turn for the better, and the Ace of Cups, new love, a story of the heart chakra. And that came up with the 9/11 towers as well, all of the love stories that came out of what happened. The angry man who must choose a gift, or their gifts, or rod and staff, whether that's their employees or their music, or employees and cracking the whip, or angry expected to gift their staff, or give bonuses here, like why should I have to, I'm already paying them. Or he's gifting the cleanup crew and cracking the whip to get it done, or feeling angry about 911, or a gift of remembrance here, maybe both sweet and sour. Someone may have lost family or a lot of money after the deaths and the world upside down, or dysfunctional families clinging to the upside down world, with Scorpio reversed and Pisces reversed, or unexpected income or lack thereof, as the boy became impoverished or walked away with nothing, gifting all to the children. Inspired to unconditional love, the man of passion makes it official, or new passion between the King of Cups and the King of Wands, or child and legal counsel, who may be helping them out or offering free counsel. The wise old owls and polar bear really reaching here, the polar bear, the polarized shadow, the hanging men and the devil, the mature man or hierophant on a path as the wounded warrior transforming. The Queen of Wands reversed and the Queen of Swords upright may be with daughter or females around or his own feminine side. The Queen of Wands reversed still needs his wisdom, but the Queen of Swords upright is transformed to the light and may be a third party here, or considered a bad influence, or that could be a group of bad influences to her, or just a lack of social life due to social distancing. One may be rising above and one not, or dark mother trying to hold them back because they want them dependent on them so that they can be the control and the savior type of energy. Or that could be the perpetrator as well, depending on your situation. At 1055, which is that high vibe destiny and the truth of Excalibur, the Ace of Swords. All right, so this last message of the day was 11:07 to 13 this morning, the 11 of Justice, the 7 of the Chariot, and the 13 of the Death card in transformation. The underlying energy right away was coming up bigs and littles, parents and children, very protective with the crocodiles still around. The power man from Mars dealing with reptilians, or Elon Musk making deals for some new nests on Mars, sharing under the radar or feeling a failure, needy for attention, seeing synchronicities, or with too many options. Weak in ego death or in need of courage, defenseless to the energies or court's decision on whether regarding Mars or someone's family nest, perhaps one party without representation. I realize representation is that reptilian comes up with that too, but another may be defenseless to the judge's decision. So again, this could be one who's got money and representation and the other one doesn't, but the judge may side with the one with no representation. The mature man with concerns about the empty nest with him or others sick and child left alone, with the main female to raise, perhaps. So they may be concerned about them being alone, right? Even if they're divorced, the father's job is to protect their children, and the energy is coming up here around their fear that they won't be able to do that. Or the father sick to their stomach that he has plenty of room, but the child and main female won't stay there. Or father who did leave security to his daughter and their child. The masculine hermit weakened by the main female who's nesting comfortably. The theme of the fathers needing to protect the nest, and it's hard to do that from afar, as the natural protector or guard of the nest. So first here the lion's den comes up, feeding the birds, or allowing them some freedoms that may be costing him a pretty penny. Cha-ching, 777, or perhaps as he starts giving more starts rolling in. The second energy here is the whale struggling in dark energies. In the sea, this isn't the word I wrote, but sea of tranquility is coming up here. The whale struggling in dark energies in the sea of tranquility, or the sea where he's transmuting displaced energies. It's that dark energy being displaced because of the light energy coming in with this movement. Feeling weighed down, needing to rest. People don't understand why they're so tired. Needing a lifeline or a raft, holding their tongue, or employees, or as the one working too hard, or dealing with verbal abuse from their own employees, or just not into being in the lead anymore. They're just too tired, or tired of this. And then the rain in Spain comes up again. The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain. So the Spanish territory is coming up as the Spanish territory in Africa, which I know from when I was guided to look up the Gibraltar Strait many times. So whether in Morocco or Tunis or Constantine were coming up, but I always got the Atlas Mountains as in Atlas Mountains, but also the Herculean Mountains were in the, may have been in Melilla or Tunis were coming up, or Constantine, but there's like a Hercules Mountains. They don't know which mountain is really the mountain twin with the Rock of Gibraltar, but I wasn't getting a twin at all. I was getting the two mountains on the African continent are the twins to the Rock of Gibraltar, which points towards the UK. It's the triangle, it's not the two. So here, the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain, which the plain is Africa, not Spain, but it's Spanish property on Africa, which is Melilla and Ceuta. So then I looked it up to see what's going on there, because obviously they were guiding me to that. And the Spanish rock, so the Rock of Gibraltar is on Spanish territory, but it's owned by the UK. So on September 9th, this week, which was written on the 14th, which is today, on May 17th to 19th, 21, about 10,000 migrants crossed the border into Spain's Ceuta and Melilla. Morocco relaxed their border controls in Ceuta in retaliation against Spain's decision to allow Brahim Ghali, a leader of the Polisario Front, a militant organization opposed to the Moroccan rule in Western Sahara, to receive treatment in a Spanish hospital. And then I got a New Hope spam call again here, too, at 11:36, which is Justice and the Atlas energy of Weight of the World. And here we are in the Atlas Mountains. Whilst the European Union rushed to condemn Morocco, ongoing of the same stuff and the dangers of externalizing the border control has been going on for a long time, issues with humane approaches to asylum. So both of those areas are Spanish ruled. So Spain and EU are complicit, they said, in human rights abuses systematically controlled by Moroccan and Spanish authorities alike in Ceuta and Melilla. So, and the Moroccans outnumber the Spanish, for sure here, right? So the Moroccans are trying to prevent entry into Spain, but Spain, in the background, is funding this. The Moroccans shoot weapons that are funded by the EU or the Spaniards, and both areas that are Spanish and those from Africa seeking asylum there have been denied their rights. So the person writing the article was basically saying that Spain, they were being hypocrites. The third energy here is the dragonfly with gossamer wings that disappear when two as one heart is pulsing. Masks upon entry, a watery or emotional air sign here, heartbroken by the differences and three sides to the same story, at adjudication or in court. Irreconcilable differences here. Then the camel is who's tight-lipped here, and the masculine has come up as the camel bat phoenix. And I always call him Batman in the cards because it's like him in the Bat Cave in the cards. So the camel is being tight-lipped with just a tinge of blues. Perhaps he's a horse in disguise, of course, says Mr. Ed, for everyone's a horse. A whore who sees, right? I was blind, but then I see. And again, the need for, when I wrote, of course, I was getting courage, cruise, couscous, and off course as well. So at 12:27, the hangman and the ace of wands, that new inspiration, the independent humpback whale and camelback. So all these references came up again because they came up yesterday too. The humpback whale, the camelback, outback, all those kind of camel and back and humps coming up. Quasimodo too here. Quasimodo, his motto is the quantum sight. So here we go again with I was blind, but now I see. And right as I wrote that, a bird hit the window, ending their flight or plight, which came up on the other page. The camel with family that's expanding and looking back at letters or notes or email. perhaps documents or a paper trail, or cleaning out drawers, or found a letter, or thought of someone and sent them a message, which is funny that came up too, because I just I was cleaning something out downstairs in the basement, and I came across some old pictures from college, and I sent my college friend one of our pictures, and she was so happy to see it. So found a letter or thought of someone and sent them a message or handwritten letter here. The Lion King and the weak whale meet up with dragonfly and camel in tow. Or the dragonfly is just the camel's heart beating very fast, fluttering because they're nervous about the culmination of the other two's conversation or decision. Or did they get the job? There's a power player stepping down here due to their age or illness. So obviously there's a lot of people vying for that position. Or the camel is a lamb in disguise, so they'll actually hire them and won't think they're so innocent. Or, they're not green, but blue. The best interview color, On the side here is the bat, the raccoon, and the hyena, whether they are interviewing too, or just not the main characters here. The bat is a mousy little one with wise counsel, advising them to awaken and rise above, or be there early. The raccoon with a mask too, who's used to trash, with loving lady who so loves them at home, with a gift for when they return, even if they don't make it. It's a win-win for them. The hyena may lie or make jokes to get what they want, but usually it's very obvious that their insecurity, quote unquote, is showing. Looking for spiritual peace, perhaps needs to mature some first and commit to a mature woman, or a mother who's very religious and may shame them and tell them to go to confession, or mother sending them to military school to learn to commit and be disciplined. And that was at 12:38 to 39 when the mailman actually showed up. And 38 and 39 is the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups, and them hanging out together. And there may be a letter in your mailbox regarding that. The motley crew here, with help from one of two wise birds, the loving lady who's spiritual and peaceful, perhaps mature, rising above and coming out, but not fully so that the other has to do some of the work. Instead of Bible or Hebrew school, subconscious school or shadow work. On a journey of gifts from Source, with mature woman triggering them, which is kind of like what I do with you, but can they be trusted? Or do you resonate with them? Or even this employer you're interviewing with, are you interviewing them too? Because you should be. This is a co-creation between the two of you, right? No one should have the full power. The hummingbird is clearing up front, but out back is the snake bite and the poison apples they didn't tell you about up front. The arrogance and loss of hope, or something you won't be able to heal from or become imprisoned by. The true story that they didn't tell you. So this goes for forms too that you sign without looking at the small print. Those 40-page contracts that you can't possibly understand, or they're just so long that most without the attention span to actually read it, or everyone has agreed to it already to get into the apartment or the website, so it must be okay. Well, they just own everything on there after you leave. Or are you going to jail for lying on your resume? The vehicle of the journey, in hindsight, a gift. Or is it? And them threatening, maybe they're threatening jail time if you don't give up your human rights to not be a human guinea pig. There may be a message of concern to or from the wealthy man, and that could be the powers that be, to female about an occupation or perhaps a sewing job, or having just the right one for the job who understands all that may be expected of it. The patient angel or the higher love in transition and in energetic exchange or lots of back and forth with the tower, chaos, sudden events, epiphanies or eruptions and drama, on the twin path or in choosing a new path, knowing what to expect. Someone who's been there before, perhaps who's older and wiser. Or this could be two women who may need to work together well. A boss woman may remember them sewing cushions for her, perhaps received a compliment, and now is thinking of hiring her. A lot of curtains and pillows are coming up in these cards, and a man of means, perhaps a business for a mother and two girls, or a man stealing someone else's idea for their own family business at 12:58, the Hangman and the Four of Swords, which is also the 5D connection or taking a break. So those are your messages. So let's get into the read, the twin flame read here. It's already 54:54, and this twin flame read isn't very long, so let's just get to this. Okay. So the read in front of you, I cut and dealt at 10:02, which is like the 1 and the 2, the masculine and the feminine, but also that high vibe term for the better, of destiny, and the 2 of the high priestess, the psychic abilities or the secret. And piano is coming up too this week. So 10:10 is coming up here, 2 wheels, 2 high vibes, destinies, with crystals, which is being Christ-like, or purging, which is cry, stalls, and LS also coming up here, whatever that means for you. So LS can be Lou and Sophia, but it also can be likes, was just coming up, but also L and S. So, which can be Elohim and Sophia. So however you resonate with that LS, that came up just like that. And you can look up LS in Wiktionary too to see what definitions it has. But I finished clarifying at 10:24, which is that high vibe, and the 24 of the Queen of Wands. 24 is also the Omega, which I always get as the end of karma locally, like in your family or community. And then 10:28 came up shortly after I started writing this as well, which is the 10 of the high vibe and the 28 of the twin flames. So we have guidance here, which is the Hierophant, Chariot, and Luna, which is the moon. And before the read, transition came up, which is death, or transition, endings, transformation. And we had 3 swords, 2 pentacles, 1 wand, and 2 cups. There were no court cards here, none, period. No people. The number 2 came up as significant, and the 10:10 of that very high vibration to keep it high, a reminder. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, lay them straight. But that's a long breath before laying them straight. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, lay them straight, with the 2 of the high priestess and the divine feminine, and that very high vibration. This could be like represent a party too, because there's no people here, but it's like planning a lot of people. So it's like the calm before the storm. That's what I'm getting. So the code line here is domestic harmony and karmic completion. And again, that 10:28 came up there. And sadness was coming up, but also SAAD, which was coming up as SAAD is like a vow. So we have the sad SAAD bridge, perhaps a sad bridge, if the end of pain means boredom and grounding and integrating Jesus. So someone may not believe in religion or Jesus, but this has to do with karmic completion and domestic harmony. Also to say aid or Addie, I, God, yes, the betrayal of ignoring God's love and Jesus. And for me, Jesus isn't coming up as a religion, it's coming up as a mastering of consciousness, of that unity love consciousness. It has nothing to do with religion here. Also, EIGS was coming up, which one of the definitions came up with Kos, which Constantine came up already, which is my dad's name, and Kos was his nickname, which is also an island in Greece, which is near the African continent where we were just talking about. So that's why I wanted to bring that up. Again, this SAAD is a seed, a promise, a vow, an affirmation, a pledge, a word, language, speech, having said, stated, or related something here. And then a vow with Kos, and then the I, the lowercase I of the chakra system coming up with the third eye, and cozy also coming up. So Kos and cozy, and a vow that was made. The 10 of swords, which is the ending of pain, or the releasing of those swords into bliss, and the 4 of cups, which can be boredom and apathy, or it could be grounding, integrating, the receiving of love. The bliss of starting over with Jesus, perhaps, regarding domestic harmony or karmic completion, perhaps a military contract here as well. So we have guidance upright here, and beneath it the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands reversed, and transition upright. The Queen of Pentacles upright and the Knight of Wands reversed, falling short in transition. And then I was getting, because I'd watched Dear John, it was like that energy of them being away on duty. The Queen of Pentacles upright and the Knight of Wands reversed, falling short in transition with guidance. Moving to peace away from what didn't work. Post-war unhappy, dark night, ending, deaths, and transition here. And then the Six of Wands upright, right? That one of bringing in good news at the end of the war and leading the way. For the Emperor reversed and the Hermit reversed, right? The power player and the one who keeps to themselves, coming together in deception with the Seven of Cups upright, the synchronicities and choices, perhaps too many of them, which can cause confusion. The Queen of Pentacles upright and the Page of Wands reversed may be frustrated. He gambling with her and she dipping her toe in the water, but there's no water to be dipped into. Guidance and frustration and losing patience with the fallen angel. The Queen of Swords reversed, who may be a star, or just that energy of healing and shining their light, or keeping them in check, quiet under the stars. Maybe the key is to not talk and just to be in love together. Destined to fly out over the water or take off. So unrequited love comes up here, and soulmates underneath. So just, and that the movie about Dear John is just because they didn't come back or because they couldn't wait didn't mean they didn't still love you. And then we had the lost love energy of the Queen of Swords reversed in silence, going crazy and not surprised, not wanting to be a hostage, too much missing of the flame, and no surprises. Again, this energy of being apart for many years, but also, so, you know, after a while, it's like it's too much missing of that person, because now your life goes on and there's no surprises in your life. There's no close inspections of looking at each other, or no dinners with somebody else. Only blue balls, and losing circulation was coming up here. And then that may be a plight of the military man as well. And then we have rebirth of the 16, and there's confirmation there. Rebirth of the 16 in the Tower, which is sudden events, epiphanies, and sex, perhaps, at 11:25, which is justice and the Knight of Wands. And then beneath the rebirth is pride, which is 19 of the Sun. So again, the Tower and the Sun is very much representing the military man. And again, confirmation. The Ace of Cups reversed, dumped, overwhelmed, with new passion, celebrating and uncomfortable. The Wounded Warrior in surrender. The Wounded Warrior, see, the military, they're supporting the military right now. The Wounded Warrior in surrender, at night being inspired, where wolves are howling and there's romantic disappointment. So they're then inspired to work, right? So if there's no romance going on, they can really get into their work and focus. The Page of Wands with guidance, but frustrated and destined to awaken and rebirth. Time to recover. The underlying energy is the Fool upright, free to leap. The Fool upright, free to leap, and the Queen of Wands, free to leap with clarity at work, perhaps unhappy, but destined to have a difficult childhood, and maybe realizing this, or falling out in the past and defenseless to the energies of disconnect or distance post-war. And again, that can be injuries involving war too, or someone gets injured and they need a long time to heal. The recent past is the lunar or luna or moon reversed. This can be deception or getting up really early, sharing or settling out, coming clean or cleaning up, and reaping rewards. But the Page of Swords is reversed, which represents negative self-talk or perhaps rumors or lying and spying about the Queen of Cups upright, who may be the energy of Cancer, or perhaps dealing with the sign of Cancer, or somebody dealing with the disease of Cancer, but she's upright, but the Knight of Cups is reversed, who may feel rejected or jealous or ashamed, or this could be someone who's insincere as well, as the Empress is upright and is not calling. And this may be assumed by the other, it's because she's with a happy family and she's happy with herself and doesn't need them. The Ten of Pentacles is upright and the Sovereign's upright, which references someone who's got the ultimate of everything, so why would they need them? The King of Swords is upright as the warrior. There's no surprise in the cleanup or coming clean, sharing and starting over, as the foundation is the Eight of Swords reversed, released and offering truth to the one who's going crazy, carrying the weight of the world for the kids, the Leo, the sunshine, exposing that they're going crazy. And the central energy of the Chariot upright, boldly moving the Page of Wands reversed, frustrated with justice, divorce, and Libra. And the one injured and left behind, in order to come together. The King of Swords, sovereign, with happy, wealthy family who may not be calling, and challenged by feeling betrayed or a betrayal, ending pain with the Queen of Cups upright and the King of Pentacles reversed in a heated exchange. The King of Swords without options, perhaps, with the High Priestess or Pisces, and that can represent a third person in the situation who needed help, awakening to suffering in silence, or a sister, and tripping up, falling short of expectations. The fallen angel, the Page of Pentacles reversed, in need of help, with the High Priestess servant, or their secret, and the Magician upright and the Empress upright, giving the truth to the Dark Knight about their union, and detoxing the past, rising above, no sleep, or awake and coming out in a release. So after not knowing for a long time, finding out the situation, and if you watch the movie Dear John, he left her for another term, but he felt like he had to because it was after 9/11, so he felt like if the rest of the group was going to sign up again, that he had to do it with them, that it was the right thing to do. And then and of course that term ended up being longer, and she got tired of waiting around, and then had other things in her life which called her to do the right thing. So it wasn't that they stopped loving each other, it's just their lives each called them to help other people for some reason or another. But then, of course, they end up coming together in the end. So the now moment here is the Seven of Pentacles upright. The Divine Feminine's heart rejected by the Hierophant, the marriage, the Taurus, or the establishment, offered time, money, and effort from third party or bad influences, but uncomfortable, needing help, or not walking away. The Divine Feminine's heart unhappy, holding back, in disconnect or at a distance, with past lover in separation and rising above, and a release with the Emperor reversed, defenseless without an excuse. Detoxing obsessions, and this could be dealing with addictions as well, needing to detox their obsessions or addictions. But here's an obsession for cutting cords coming up, or cutting hair, or cutting threads, or splitting hairs or threads. As the Page of Wands reversed and the King of Cups reversed, no longer nostalgic about a union. The Queen of Cups upright and the Page of Cups reversed, unable to express their feelings or were rejected. Seeing synchronicities, or having lots of choices, but also embarrassing themselves, feeling a fool in front of the world, like those people with too much pride, afraid to show their vulnerable side, afraid to be humiliated in front of the world, and then starting over with the Queen of Wands, which was funny because in the movie, John, it reminded me so much of my nephew, who's actually getting married. And then this was at 12/21, which is the Hanging Man and the 21 of the world, completion. And again, that conjunction that I told you about, last December, that was the Star of Bethlehem connection. So here it's coming up again. We're soon, and that's September 21st, and then we have another 12/21 coming up in December. That may be a reference for this December. So soon as the Ten of Wands upright, the Atlas weight of the world, carrying that weight, but leaving the wounded warrior behind, right, the victim mentality, as the Knight of Pentacles upright is offering help to the family of the Queen of Pentacles, or to bridge the gap. Secretly, perhaps they had no options, or just secretly in their heart, there was no other option. The Queen of Pentacles being strong, receiving passion from the negative past, and the Knight of Swords reversed, who never called, is happy with their family without them, or that's their assumption. The twin flames are seeing themselves as the Six of Swords, moving to peace on the journey to end conflict, a losing battle, after sudden events, epiphanies of energetic exchange with new information coming in. Pushed to the emotional limit in marriage and work, and this could be the one comes up along with heart-to-heart conversations. Around the twins are how they're seen as the Two of Cups reversed in disconnect or at a distance, home and surrender, detoxing, holding on, saving to manifest and not telling, and the Four of Cups reversed, starting over, off the island, the Knight of Swords reversed and the King of Pentacles reversed, grieving, guilt, and shame. And then there's karmic completion coming up, which I just talked about on a community level, ending karma, karmic completion and domestic harmony, and following your dreams. Big love manifesting as the hermit in exile from the group in the Mary Magdalene cave. The King of Cups reversed, ending pain and deception, or the pain of cancer reversed. Rejection of the past and rising above, releasing oneself from prison. The Queen of Cups is upright with synchronicities and home detoxing, embarrassing themselves in front of the world. Rejected and starting over with the Queen of Wands looking the other way. The King of Wands is above them, looking back, not telling their conditions of love. The sealed divine feminine no longer feeling sorry for themselves, with lovers sharing their sexual energy with the divine feminine. Again, that's that feminine of sexual exchange when someone's in a relationship and they're twins because they feel each other. The Queen of Pentacles reversed and the Knight of Wands reversed, transitioning through religious counseling perhaps, in a release to find peace, in disconnect or at a distance, deception of the Chariot or ascension, and challenged by ending pain and betrayal, or getting or giving massages. Atlas leaving the wounded warrior behind to start over with the divine feminine's heart who had been left in exile of the group. Guidance in the early morn, inspiring and releasing from imprisonment and or a shower. Driving or bold move, challenged by betrayal. And this could be someone who was required to shower, not when they wanted to, but when someone told them they had to. I was just getting that for somebody. Driving or bold move and challenged by betrayal to the divine feminine's heart at the E tower, because she's like Rapunzel in the E tower, which is like the 5D tower. Moving to peace and climbing up and out of it. In disconnect, not seeing eye to eye, or at a distance, not seeing face to face, starting over in exile together. The King of Wands is out there, just contemplating coming inside, as the King of Cups reversed, secretly deceived by the Knight of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles, with the Ten of Cups family helping them or between them, and the King of Pentacles reversed secretly with the Queen of Cups and not telling the Knight and Queen of Pentacles. Or the King of Pentacles reversed is with a lawyer now, so that the kids automatically ran and supported the mother's family, or it's all of a sudden like rushing to their aid because the father got the lawyer, so now he's the bad guy. So that's the way it comes up at the end. Right, always ending up the bad guy. So there's another message for you there. So just a quick card, because this is going long. Let's see how we can wrap this up. At 2:30 on the clock here, and we have just had the 28, the 38, 39 again of the Queen of Cups and Knight of Cups, along with the Magician and the Hangman, and the 2 of the High Priestess, the 30 of the Union. The High Priestess is also the secret and the psychic abilities, whether it's a man or a woman. And again, we had the dice were Venus with Libra and Taurus, that destiny, the turn for the better, that high vibration, the 1-0, which is also computer code, and then the Pisces energy with 1 foot in this world and 1 foot into the next. And the fish, of course, that. So what is our takeaway from the read today? The black egg, the truth. There's your Excalibur. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you source, creator, God, love, whatever you want to call it. And there's the hummingbird, keeping it clear, right? The whole truth will set you free. I love when they do that. It makes it so literal. The truth shall set you free. When you keep that vibration really high. And then we have the dragon, which represents the solar plexus, right? Which is like your higher self, keeping an eye on you. It's a spiritual card there with the dragon. And then we have the bat, which is Batman, which is the masculine, opening his heart and guarding the nest, right? That's the golden egg and the aqua energy of the mother in the heart chakra. So you got a lot of chakra energy. You got the throat chakra, the solar plexus chakra, and the heart chakra. So 3 in a row, which is very much that middle space that you want to be in. As the feminine is the hummingbird, staying in that very high vibration, the masculine is Batman, right? Because she's also the hummingbird high up there, because she's Rapunzel in the tower, and he's Batman in the Batcave. So those are the energies that came up. And then we have the underlying energy of the mouse, Remember the bat, you know, he's just a mouse that has grown some wings. He's still scared, but he's getting braver. That's very sweet. But you see they're in this this dark rain that's coming in because of the light energy coming in and displacing it. So they're really feeling it. It's like Mr. Bojangles. And there's the nightingale clearing the way with their song that helps people come back into their heart. Right? The little guys, they're so little and sweet. And they're doing all this work. Whereas you see that rainbows are outside the mouse here it's the collective awakening as the songbird sings. And then we have the zebra, which I was coming up as, and oh, there's a little 2-year-old in the diapers, just like Mr. Bojangles too, right? That innocent, sweet child or pet. And again, the world awakening. So here's the collective awakening with the innocent child who's so curious and loving, and then there's the zebra with their third eye activated in color, living in color, and then the song of the songbird and the sweet little act of the mouse, like Mr. Bojangles. That how profound is that? That, you know, Mr. Bojangles, just his little act that he does can just melt these big men's heart on death row, right? The scariest of men, supposedly. And this little mouse can just melt their hearts. So it's just showing you, you know, ways to bring them into their heart by the sweet song and by these little acts from the children or their little pets, and how important they are to them to undo all the wounding they had as children when they were abused or neglected or whatever it was for them. All right, and Spirit's connecting with me very profoundly right now. So the truth shall set you free. As the Divine Feminine keeps her vibration very high and focusing on your inner child, right, your higher self, keeping an eye on you, along with the masculine in his heart. So the feminine is helping with the truth, setting them free, and the masculine's, you know, working with the heart chakra and opening it up, you know, with the sweet things like the mice entertaining them, or their pets, you know, keeping them in their hearts, or song keeping them in their hearts. So it's giving you little clues on how to help with this stuff. Okay. All right, we have the fire and ice. So again, that's the merging together of the fire and ice, and there's that energy of like Jesus standing in the middle of the polarity in the vortex, allowing all of it, even when it's polarized, allowing all of it and loving it all and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's very much the masculine, and there's the feminine. So we have the masculine seeing the light at the end of the tunnel amidst the polarities and being able to stay in the middle in their indigo, right, which is more purplish, blue and red. And then we have the bride offering herself, and she's saying, what's taking so long? And there's a lot of turbulence around her because she's still halfway in the cyclone there. But he's sitting in peace within the vortex. She's saying, come on, you can handle it here. It's like going down, I was just getting the big slide at the amusement park, like someone who's scared to go down the big slide on the slide, you know, just the regular ones that aren't that intimidating. It's like she's saying, come on, you can do it. I'm in it, see? It's like a mom waiting for her kid to jump into the pool. That's the energy I'm getting here. That it's okay, you can do this. So fire and ice, the 37 is unconditional love, and the bride offers herself, which is 43, which is a 7, and that's the 3 of cups of coming together, right? So the unconditional love of the masculine here, but perhaps with some fears. And here is the feminine who's coming up as fearless, yet needing to come together. Okay, so it's like the masculine being more social, but has certain fears, and the feminine may be fearless, but she has certain, perhaps, social things that she has issues with. So again, they're both working from two sides of the same coin. The unconditional love and the coming together in union. Will she unconditionally love me? Will he choose me over his family? That's the energy that's come up from a long time ago. Right, because that's the energy. The masculine as a warrior always chose the family over her, even if he loved her more than the family, because of the way things looked and what was supposed to be done according to society, or because, or the family sending them to war to keep them apart, because she was there for the needy, and the wealthy family didn't really like her because she didn't like all their social events that were foo-foo and all that kind of stuff. And of course the masculine felt conflicted between these two things, but ended up being overtaken by the family and societal norms and what was expected of them, whereas the feminine was left behind, helping those who were in need of help. So here's that energy of the masculine: will she love me no matter what, even if I'm flawed? And the feminine: will he love me above his family and love me first, beside themselves, which is each other. So to love your twin is to love yourself first. So the choice is the 62 of the restriction. Again, it's always your choice to stay in that prison or not. To stay in the cyclone for the feminine, or go into the vortex, or stay in the vortex and not be seen by the world, which may be a little bit rougher out there. And that's always your choice. And there it is again, the crossing the water, staying in the cyclone, being able to be in both places without being affected. And this is where you want to be. And we always see that with the other card that comes up as Linda and Paul on their record, walking right through all of it, hand in hand. See if I can find that one. See if it comes up near the surface. Nope, the bottom of the deck is Becoming, by the way, which is just a beautiful, I love the colors, the contrast in this, the 34 of the energetic exchange here, which is very 2D, right? Because the sex itself is a more animalistic tendency. It's a lower chakra tendency, as opposed to the bliss of unconditional love. So there's that contrast too. I just want to see if I can find that card that always comes up. There it is. So there's the energy of like Linda and Paul. I always see it as them, she always used to wear those big vests, those big long vests, and them walking hand in hand through all of the crap of the world, whether they're in it or in the vortex. It doesn't really matter, that they're good either way. The dance of the planets, the 56 of their being and their knowing. It's a really beautiful energy. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you guys. Okay, I do have to read Fire and Ice. Or I want to. I'm not going to read the throat chakra because I've read that a lot, and you guys know about the throat chakra. And it's the whole truth. No, not even little itty bitty lies. Speak your truth with love. And then 37 here, which is unconditional love. I'm looking at the wrong book. 37. And just hit 23, which is the King of Wands. All right, Fire and Ice. You're learning to hold the tension of opposites, of those things that don't immediately seem to go together within your own being, without collapsing into confusion, judgment, or denial. There is passion and serenity, creation and destruction, new life and death emerging within you, within your relationships. Sometimes this is hard to handle. We want to make things simpler, to just let go of the conflict and complexity and choose one or the other. You're a grand enough soul to be able to withstand the rigors of depth, to go deep, to live fully, to let the divine have its way through you, requires a willingness to stand at the center of the pairs of opposites and eventually know that they are connected to each other, that they exist only in relationship to each other, to breathe and simply be. If you are consciously feeling the conflict in your life, internally or externally, then you are being initiated through Fire and Ice. Stay present, be patient, and wait. There's nothing to fix here, just awareness to step into as the divine creation continues to unfold through you. As you master this initiation, you will find a sweet nectar of bliss dripping within. This oracle brings you guidance that the conflict you feel within or externally is a sign of your spiritual growth. Soon you will grow larger than the conflict, but for now you do not need to engage in it, simply to be present to it and allow it to work its way through you until you're strong enough to have outgrown the conflict, giving rise to a clear direction. It may seem impossible, beloved, but it is not. You are a vast being. Give yourself a chance to realize this and have patience. All is becoming, including you, according to the perfection of divine design. This oracle brings specific guidance on any relationship matter requiring a decision. Until you have simple clarity in your heart, beyond the pushing away and pulling closer, then it is time to wait, for there is more yet to be revealed. It is only when your heart speaks clearly, then you will do well to act as feels truthful for you. And there comes in the throat chakra of making sure to speak your whole truth. There is a beautiful silence now as I hold your hands and listen to your eyes across a span of moments called time. There are no words that say as much, nor walls that could confine the wings of our feelings or the rhyme of our eyes. Rise and be loved, guys. Breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. Bye, guys.